which is, guys, that's the technology we live in, I guess. But I think you guys might remember me from the last webinar that I did with someone very similar looking like Chandan. I think it was Danesh Gandhi and Shamsan Gupta. But today, I'd really like to welcome you guys to our webinar where we're going to talk about how to grow revenue with white label solutions and partnership with conversational AI today. So with me, I have Chandan Vishwakarma. I'm Ayush. I guess you guys remember from the last webinar. But yes, let's get started, guys. So I think
Yeah, hi.
before
Hi,
we get started, I think I'll just like to quick take pause. Sorry, Chandan. Please go on. Yeah.
No, I was just greeting everyone. Thanks for joining in. But yeah, you can take forward.
Sorry. Yeah. So greeting aside, guys, I think just one quick pause before we get started. I think I'd just like to quickly mention that Ingati in September had won the Tech Partner of the Year award, right? Which I think is really significant in showing our growth. We've been in this business for around 7 years, and people, businesses, partners like WhatsApp and Meta recognizing it actually truly motivates us and puts us and shows us that headed in the right direction. Right, Chandan? What do you
Correct.
have to say about the award?
Correct. And also, I would also want you to share some of the experience considering you were in Jitex representing Ingati. So the topic also that we have chosen, which is specifically on conversation AI, there were many decision makers to whom you interacted. Probably if you could share more information on that, or maybe some of the experiences to the people, those who have joined in.
Correct, absolutely. So I think I'm glad you brought that up, right? So
Yeah.
the reason why I went to Jitech was because of one of NRT's partners, which is OGS Infotech. So we went there to Jitex, and everywhere I see around, there's AI and WhatsApp surrounding every business. So everybody's interested in the whole wave. I think Gartner recently also had a post where they were saying that generative AI is going to be the wave, where a lot of business owners are looking for these kind of conversational AI. So essentially, I guess for someone who is extremely new, Chandan, to conversational AI, I would say it is like talking to a friend, right? Without you knowing that it is not a friend but a robot in the background. That's essentially how I'd like to put it, right? That is what essentially conversational AI is, right?
Correct.
That is what it is. And partnership, so by partnership, I mean we at Engati are a platform or a product using which you can make these conversational AI chatbots or platforms, right, on the live chat scenarios where you can build this kind of partnership. So I think that is what essentially is going to be our discussion portal.
Correct.
Now,
And
yeah,
no, so considering when we were just speaking some time back, you also did raise up a point as to when we not only talk about partnership, but let's say we are talking about a white label conversation AI solutions. So from a business perspective, what all benefit it adds up, what all things are there which can be taken into consideration. And I believe we came up to something where we can highlight these four things. Where first of all, obviously for bigger enterprises where they have maximum acquisition. So the biggest challenge for them is
mhm,
with the less amount of manual effort, how they can make sure that the experience of on the customer support is very much premium. So that's where, yes, this particular point where this particular stuff boost the customer retention. Obviously, to many businesses, let's say these are primarily SIs, software development companies. I would like to touch base on to digital marketing advertising agencies also creates an additional revenue stream. So idea is with the same amount of team, same amount of effort that you're putting to onboard one particular customer, it brings in more revenue. And obviously, following point where it also allows you to reduce the cost, having the complete control on the technology. So this is where it also gives you an entire opportunity where you are the owner. You based on what exactly your customer needs, what are the requirements, you will be able to cater it and then eventually have more business around it. And highlighting that this particular slide also mention is the white label. So what I have also personally believe when you speak with many decision makers these days, let's say the CEOs, founders, co-founders, what they also want is, yes, they do have a primary service with which they have might have onboarded 500, 600 customers, but they want to make sure that yes, it's the same brand catering to the same customers with different services as well. So yes, this also allows you to have the authority in the market where you are not only just servicing your customer, but also adding value by giving them more sort of things which is required based on their customer stuff. And my the also one particular point which they wanted, or rather they have also asked me that, Ayush, when we talk about these sort of stuff, what about the revenue, right? Is it important, or how this can help them grow the revenue on the aspect where they have to put more efforts on those lines? So if you could also touch base onto that point.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think to sum it up, I would say to what benefits or who is the right person for a white label or a potential partnership is people looking to add this as a extra revenue generation source, right? So ideally, it could be like you rightly mentioned, system integrators. It could be SMS aggregators. It could be customers with digital marketing agencies who are looking to channel WhatsApp as a front to grow their business. So I see, I'd put it in a better way. I think where there are four major chunks of things where we can potentially come in and help you drive revenue, right? Where each business is in unique in terms of what is the problem they are trying to solve. So how I like to divide the customer problems into four parts is, Chandan, maybe marketing, right? If you're looking to market, your
Yeah.
end goal or your conversion or your growth factor would be, let's say, how many people are you reaching out to? What is the conversion percentage? What is your ROAS? That kind of a lead, right? I think which will also be similar to the next point, which I think we call as I think product discovery using GenAI, which I think we could showcase as well if required on call today. But yeah, essentially utilizing GenAI to display products, give them information, tell them about communication, and utilizing GenAI based solution to sell how I guess a product is in a better line, right? So there, I guess the driving factors for revenue growth would be the order collection, the increased cart value, right? The time to convert for a deal, those kind of things. And I think the age-old customer success, customer support kind of use cases, it could, I think, boil down to CSAT scores, right? In terms of what is the time in which your customer query is getting resolved without a human agent being involved, right? There could be workflow automations in the future of AI, which we can definitely talk about in terms of agentic spaces. But yeah, I think this is, in short, what I can tell you multiple ways to drive revenue through AI.
Yeah. And also probably when you're talking about, product discovery or something, do we have something that we can show to the customer on the slide so that they'll be able to relate and what we were talking about?
Yeah, 100%. Let me just try to bring it up. Seeing in the product discovery side of things, you can see I think I've just pulled up a journey in front of me where I've
Sure.
just sent a marketing message to me, right? On a direct basis. So this message can be customized according to how you're looking for, how you're treating what you're looking for, and then I can have interactive buttons here that will help me do the next steps. So this approach is a mix of both rule-based plus Gen AI-based approaches, right? So I think for the audience, Chandan, would you like me, or maybe would you like to ask me a question of saying what is the difference between rule-based and generative AI? I love to answer that question, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, specifically, you can answer that. But probably if you could also show me with an example by asking something, that would be
Yeah,
great.
100%. So I think rule-based, everybody understands making this happen. That is pretty simple. Now, what generative AI is in comparison is, let's say, for example, I type in here, uh, what, please suggest me something to wear to a wedding, right? So this is something that you would generally speak to a friend or to a fashion designer or to somebody you visit a shop, right? That in a very conversational way. So this is what the generative AI powered chatbots could potentially be doing, where it will search through my entire store, right? And give me results based on my queries and based on what I have present in my store on an automatic basis. So you can see it actually pulling out these results and the answers being relevant to my question as well, while making it personalized for me. So now, in short, to answer your question, a difference between rule-based versus GenAI-based solutions would be a simple example as a question bank that our teacher used to share with us when we were in school, right? Where questions were set, answers were set, you just need to go right. But on the contrary, the more exams we enjoyed, I think the reference book ones, right? The open book tests, where you could bring your reference book along with you, where you could go reference, read, and then write it on your own words. So that's what we are essentially doing, right? We're uploading multiple articles, websites, YouTube videos, a knowledge bank or a source of truth for the chatbot to understand and then give out answers. I think that's how I would like to put it, basically.
Yeah, and also to just to add, considering we are taking example of an e-commerce brand, but yeah, let's say this is across industry. You as an insurance company trying to acquire customers, where suggestions would be done in terms of what
Mhm.
would be the insurance policy, or take an example of a real estate customer interested in knowing more details about the property. These sort of
Mhm.
features can be curated based on what the end customer requires. So yeah, not
Correct.
only just enhancing the user experience, what we also are doing is better
Mhm.
acquisition, where you not only just understand the intent, but make sure that the customer is acquired at the end.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll just quickly shift to that in a 1 second, but I'd just like to also mention that I was very conversational in nature, where I just selected an option. I asked what is the material, right? It automatically understood what I'm talking about, gave me the material for it, and then nudges me to add to a cart or do my next steps, right? So it is not only giving me answers, but also nudging me in the right direction. Exactly coming to my next point, which Chandan mentioned. So this is Dr. Agrawal. I think we've helped them increase their appointment bookings using our generative AI-based solutions, where I can shortly select these options, search hospitals by type, right, Chandan? We can already do that on a direct basis. But what gets interesting is the Gen AI-based queries. So I think the simplest query that comes to me right here, I'd say is, I think this, considering this being an eye hospital, let's just go ahead and ask what is LASIK. So, I don't know, something like this. So over here, typically the bot will come in, give me a direct overall output of say, okay, this is what LASIK is, right? And then I have a follow-up question prepared for it, which actually blows a lot of people's mind, where I go ahead and say, is it safe for a 40-year-old, right? So it's just like talking to somebody you know, right? Saying, okay, what is LASIK, boss? Tell me, is it safe for me? So it's that conversant where it automatically analyzes, understands, and then here, when set up, yeah, you saw that it came right in front of you. But it understood that I'm asking too many questions, I'm interested, maybe there could be some kind of conversation, or I could convert into an appointment. It nudges me to exactly do that. But I can click here, boom, 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 and I can book my appointment right here. So this is the magic that we were talking about, Chandan, right?
Correct, absolutely. Also, but yeah, so coming back to the other thing where so after all this, the question also arises that why conversation AI solutions are the futures, which you have already pasted up. Now obviously four pointers which we could also think of, but yeah, this is completely based on conversation where we have realized that why it is the future. Number one point, it's the ease, or rather the instant access to the advanced technology these days. The solution that we also have is hosted on cloud, where you can just simply, either through your phone or your laptop, can simply log in, create an account, and you'll be able to build out use cases based on what sort of things that you would like to achieve it for your customers. And obviously,
Mhm.
even if considering an example, let's say Ayush was showing you a bot which is for a healthcare industry, or a hospital, there can be multiple hospitals. They are in one particular industry, but yes, the requirement can be something else. Someone might only require it for sending out lab reports, or use it for WhatsApp broadcasting, or maybe Dr. Agarwal using it for appointment booking. So yes, you do require customization, you do require branding based on your end customer needs. So that becomes very much easier, wherein Gati comes into picture, helps you do all those things. And then comes the following point, where with this you have an option where not only just you scale in your customer base, but it also allows you to have a flexible solution. Meaning, from a business standpoint, I can say, Ayush, let's take an example. You always tell to the customer that if even if they are trying to test in Gati, they should ideally do it for a quarter, because a 3 month time period is something where they'll be able to understand that whether the solution has actually added more value, how many lead got generated, how many customers were there who got engaged, or whether if they took it for a support use case, whether this was better or not. So yeah,
Yeah.
this allows them. after every quarter, or let's say on a month or two, if they think of that, okay, the use cases that we have built or the key area that we focused on to is not working, they have the flexibility of changing the stuff based on what the end customer require. Now, obviously, the analytics, advanced semantic lookup, and the intent that Engati will help you to make sure that more and more things that you want to achieve with the tool can be taken into consideration. All right. And the biggest point, Ayush, now these days, I believe we were speaking, I was rather speaking to you about this when we talk about how this can be delivered, or rather, the account can, or rather the go live date can be reduced. So that's where accelerated time to the market. Now we also know that there are many AI agents that has come into picture where, you can just simply go ahead, set up a task, or you can just simply nudge the bot that, okay, this is something that I want, and based on that, we the solution also allows you to make sure that all these things are done. So as a business,
Mhm.
you're not only just engaging, but you're also making sure that the impulse engagement is required in a way which will help
Mhm.
you to acquire more. Obviously, you have more pointers which I would also like you to add on the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. So I think customization, while on the front end, is essential. I think the core functionality as to what and why Stapes and Gati as business partners is also on the back end, right? Where you can, for the very example of your healthcare related issue. So when it compares to GenAI, there are certain elements that you would like to not get changed at all. Maybe be it certain diseases, be it certain symptoms. So at Engati level, we can create those multiple data pipelines to reduce the hallucination of data, right? So that you can make sure that the correct answer is given out every time and 100% of the time to people, right? That is definitely something that we have. Accelerated time to market, I think we've built a platform that is good enough to do that, right? Where it's a drag and drop solution. We have ready-made templates that people can utilize. It's essentially just putting out links on the websites to particularly go forward with it. So I think, in a way, what I'm trying to say is all summing up to why Ngati. I think that perfectly brings me to this slide. I was not sure about the next slide, but Engati as a provider, I'd say, is verticalized into six major verticals with our GenAI solutions. So I'd say they are mainly tech, healthcare, BFSI, I'd say e-commerce and hospitality to a certain extent, I'd say. So with these I think verticals, we
Correct.
found each customers, right? We've narrowed down and drilled down into use cases, case studies that we can do, right? Typically, if somebody wants to have an in-depth analysis, we can have a separate call after this. But there are in-depth understanding of the platform that we can do. Specifically, why Engati to a partner, right? I would say is the product that has been trusted with over, I think, around 750, 800 customers right now, deployed in multiple countries, with the branding of and the backing of Meta as a tech partner award, and the I think the malleability of the product to survive across industries, I think makes it strong enough, wow, to be a platform that partners should consider, right? That is what technically it is. Now there are multiple models of how we can partner, right? And then would you like to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, in a way where yes, because every business deals with us in a different way. Obviously, we have many agency partners, those who work with us on a case to case basis. Idea is whenever they feel, or rather they have a potential inquiry, they come to us where Engati works together in terms of acquiring those customers, and in terms of support. Let's say whether they would require a sales support, a POC needs to be created, a trial needs to be extended. All those things is possible. Now, additionally, there are other businesses I would like to also touch base, Ayush, where yes, they identify, or rather, after evaluation of the platform, they also have identified that yes, there is potential in the market. They also sit across with the team where they know that, okay, these are the prospects where the solution can actually add more value. Now, these can be their existing customers, new customers that they might be catering to. So we do have a reseller model, or I would say more sort of on a franchisee where they can have the entire ownership under Engati's brand. And yes, option number three, where with the, I would say the main highlight of the webinar, where you can enter the market with your brand, your logo, or we term it as a white label partnership. Now,
Correct.
yes, obviously focusing more on the other aspect, here you are making sure that you are adding something to your existing portfolio. Also making sure that the customers are being serviced in more different sort of ways and making sure that the eventually the overall user experience is enhanced. Because
Hmm.
considering, I would also like to say, when you talk about vertical solutions, there's one very important thing that they also talk about, or rather they discuss, is is Engati omni-channel? What sort of channels do we support? Where exactly these customers are engaged? So yes, that comes into picture, where idea is not only just focusing on social media, which is WhatsApp, email, you see Messenger, Instagram, Telegram, or let's say if there's a deployment inside a mobile application. But we have enterprise customers, those who also use it for an internal use case. We have many partners, those who onboard bigger customers, where if you see there are channels like Microsoft Teams and Slack, where on a particular channel, you'll be able to deploy the complete automation. And yes, in a way where obviously there are multiple tools. So when you talk about engagement, or you're catering to customer from different sort of domains. Now, Ayush mentioned about hospitality, so they use property management system. A real estate client might use a CRM. There are retail customers using ERP solution. Some might use any third party or a custom build platform. So yes, we do provide, or rather
Hmm.
Engati integrates seamlessly with all these things. You see there are names of many of the public apps like Zoho, Zendesk, Salesforce, Pipedrive, MailChimp. But yeah, if it's any third party, I believe the REST-based APIs would come into picture, where what Engati can do is Engati can seamlessly interact with two different systems and achieve the use case that the business would want to. Right.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
I think yeah, I think that that particularly puts it up in a better kind of a scenario. But typically, I would also like to maybe jump back a couple of slides, and I think and mention about a point where the multiple tiers of partnership definitely there, right? But on the premium side of things, what Ingati is looking to do is to take this product to the market in the fullest, right? So the pricing control, the reach outs, and everything is handed over to the customer while Engati will take care of the deployment, the hosting, the updates, the sprints, the newer feature that are coming to the market. So every customer who has a willingness to either support in terms of the back end, in terms of the front end, or selling of the product or support, both of these use cases definitely possible with Engati, right? That's how we particularly put and positioned our product.
correct. So yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that pretty much sums up as to what we exactly wanted to convey, or we wanted to speak or speak on those points through this webinar. Now, I hope that was very much
Hmm.
informative. Obviously, guys, you can simply scan this QR code for more any information. You can connect with me, connect with Ayush, or
Yeah.
to understand Ingati better, to understand what things are there, what are the use cases, to understand the platform better, and how exactly Engati can also come into picture and help you with all these things that we have spoken. Right. So Ayush,
Hmm.
what we'll also do is we'll just maybe have a short, or we can wait for some time to see if there's any questions anyone would like to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yes, guys. Any questions that we might have, we're more than happy to take. Uh, Actually, taking rather than taking questions here, I would prefer if you book a slot with us, which would be the previous slide where you could go here and book a slot. But definitely, we can wait a couple of minutes. I see one here. What is white label? Yeah, so white label essentially is Engati minus our branding. So if you are XYZ company, you could potentially go ahead, private label our solutions, sell it as XYZ company under your own brand name. So these kind of things is what essentially white label is, where we do not retain the control of branding, but you do while we help you with the product in the backend side. Is there a commitment to this? Okay, I think this is someone says we have a conversational platform. Being a BSP, do you provide just the APIs? Chandra, would you like to take that up?
I believe yes, that is possible, but in a way where currently, so when you talk about you being a BSP, do you provide just the
No, no.
APIs?
I think the
We
question is they have a conversational platform, And they're asking, since we are partners with Meta, would we be able to give them APIs? And that is what
I,
essentially the question is.
I don't think currently that is possible,
Mhm.
where we'll be able to.
But yeah, I think said we can have a chat offline. I mean, we can have a one-on-one discussion as to what we're looking for. But yeah, that is definitely the types of partners and types of things that we're looking for. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. Any more questions? Yeah, I think I saw one about commitment. I think typically for premium partnership, we have a year-long commitment, right? I think what's the minimum contract I can sign is one. I see. So this is typically for a one year contract for the premium partnerships. It can be longer. And yeah, but it's minimum for 1 year, I guess. Mhm. Are there any other questions that you see, Chandan, on your end? I think these are the two.
Okay. No, I believe we have covered it.
Perfect. Then I think great. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the webinar today. We really had a good time hosting you guys here with us. And uh, yeah, I think there's just one more.
Okay.
Okay. When can I expect to get live and see some profits? Okay. So I think profits and go live, right? So I think for typically for a white label scenario, the go live date is within 3 to 4 weeks, right? Where we have to come in entirely build a platform for you guys in a way where we're white labeling it entirely with your branding images. So that should typically be the white label online or go live date, right? But for profits coming in depends, right? So typically our white label subscription cost ranges from around 4 to 5 customers annual fee per year basis. So now for an average partner, it would be about a year where let's say considering each quarter you bring in just even one customer, right? And there are like 4 quarters, so 4 quarters you break even in a year. So let's say if you even bring in or manage to bring in one customer in 3 months, that's where you break even. But any customer that you bring even after the fourth customer is direct profit to you guys, right? So that's actually kind of benefit. And then year two onwards is actually when you see the magic of SaaS. And even if you consider Chandan or 25%, let's say churn
Yeah.
rate, considering the markets, considering the people switch, so you still have 3 customers left over from the previous year, and then you add on four. So it's seven now. And then keeps on adding, right? So that's the magic of SaaS from year two onwards, where you actually see goals. Now there are partners that have done exceptionally, where they have broken even in the first month, and there are certain partners that do not manage to break even as well. So I think it depends, but typically we say 1 year is where you take to break even. I think a little lesser. I think 6 months. White label will fall under the tech partnership. Uh, I think I don't understand that question exactly. If you could frame that a little better, white labeling would fall under the tech partnership.
So I can say that
So
Syed
basically, I think,
on.
sorry.
Yeah, so I can say, Sayed, on this, yes. So Engati being on the tech side of it, we'll support you as a technology partner. Idea is you being in the front end. We want that the partner should focus more on selling, enhancing the customer, bringing demos and all those stuff. And we supporting you on the tech side, we'll focus more on what sort of features, what sort of advancement, what exactly the market wants in regards to the platform. Right. So yes, you can consider Engati as a technology partner supporting you to make more revenue around it.
Yep. I think I see a last question that we can take up before we are stretching this. Does your price increase as I grow then? So I think, Chandan, would you like to take that one up?
Yeah, I mean, for the period of time that you have already signed the agreement, the pricing would increase. Obviously, every year, things changes. It's technology, new things comes into picture. So yeah, if there are potential upgrade, platform upgrades, new features been launching in, so that would depend on a case to case basis.
Correct. I think even that, and I think the only thing that you have to pay in addition to the number of customers is the usage, right?
Yeah.
So there's no additional platform fee for you having 5 customers over, let's say, 50. So a partner bringing in typically 50 customers is more valuable to us than the five. But yeah, just joking. But yeah, there's no additional fee in terms of the subscription that you need to pay in terms of uh, the number of customers are there on the private labeling side of things and the preferred partnership. But definitely on the agency partnership where we work on a deal to deal basis, the costs would rather decrease. Where if you give us more business, we'd be willing to give you more commission basis out of it. So that's how we would like to put it. And yeah, I think that sums up our webinar for today. Guys, if you guys enjoyed, please like, share, and share this video with friends who think could be benefited by this. And please try to book a call with us. Chandan and I would be more than happy to have you and have one-on-one sessions to discuss this in a personal space as well, right, Chandan?
Yes. And appreciate. Thank you so much, Ayush, for
Yeah.
joining. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks. Bye bye.